What's the government's response? How do these changes affect the rehabilitation of offenders? Joining me now, Candice Bergen, the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Public Safety. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we were just speaking with Michael Ashby. He's the Director of the National Pardon Centre. What he was saying is that the changes, the price increase, the longer wait times for a pardon actually hurt offenders trying to move on from their crime. What do you say to that?
Well, I know that there have been some challenges as far as the wait time for previous applicants. We believe that when individuals have served the time and they have proven that they are now law-abiding citizens, certainly we want them to be able to reintegrate back into society. But we do believe that a pardon or a record suspension, as it's now called, is not a right. It's a privilege, and so it has to be earned, it has to be proven. We also don't believe the taxpayers should be on the hook for the cost of it, and that's an important part of this. Under the new established rules where there is a cost.
Your point there,
yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Under the new cost rules, there also are new service standards that would be adhered to, so that means there would not be as much of a wait time.
Yeah, so right now you're trying to get through that wait list. Is that what you're saying? The government's trying to narrow that down, fix it?
Correct. We've actually hired more people to help get through that process. The other option that individuals would have is to reapply under the new fee guide and pay the additional fee, as well as put in a new application, and then they would be under the new service standards.
Now, he wanted to say, I asked him, what would be one of the questions he wanted to ask you? And he was saying, where was the evidence that showed that these changes were needed?
Well, we want to put, obviously, victims' rights and victims' concerns first. If you are a victim of a crime, you never can have a suspension from being that victim. Now, we're not saying that doesn't mean that individuals who commit a crime, obviously, if they prove they're law-abiding citizens, can apply for that pardon. But we also want a record suspension, as it's now called. We want to make sure, though, that these individuals have proven that they have changed, that they are crime-free, that they will be living lives that are contributing to society, contributing to the Canadian way of life. We think that's an important message, certainly, that we're sending to victims, we're sending to individuals who have committed crimes. We believe in rehabilitation, but we also believe that there has to be a process in place.
What he was saying is that when it comes to rehabilitation, it's hard for them because if they can't get that pardon, they can't get that job, and then it becomes a vicious circle.
Well, we agree, and that's why
the
backlog, certainly, and that's why this backlog needs to be moved through, or people can, again, reapply under the new system and then get the yes or the no in a much quicker time period.
And what they're saying as well is that new price tag, the $631, went from $50 to $150 to $631. A lot of these people are lower income, and that's a good chunk of cash for them to afford. Can you understand that?
We can, but I think it's like anything, whether you're applying for a passport, a driver's license, I mean, any kind of a permit, individual people have to pay for that, and not the taxpayers. So I think that's something that most Canadians would support. If you want to be in the application process for a record suspension, the individual should pay the fee. Maybe, a family member can help. However they want to pay the fee, they need to do it. It shouldn't be the taxpayer paying that fee.
Now, just talking about the backlog, there's a backlog of nearly 22,000 pardon applications. That's the number we were just talking about there that were made before the 2012 changes. But those who paid the higher fee of $631 are seeing theirs dealt with in a matter of months. Why is that? Well,
when the new fees were introduced, we also introduced service standards. We do believe that there should be standards adhered to whereby these applications are processed in a quicker manner. So that was the chance that we had when we asked applicants to pay a fee. We said with that fee, there will be service standards adhered to. It was our way of acknowledging that there shouldn't have to be such a long waiting time.
And when it comes to clearing out that backlog, you mentioned that more people have been hired to do that. How many more have been hired to do that?
I believe I'm not sure the exact amount. I think 20, 30 more people between 20 and 30 people have been hired to get through the process to see at least if people are eligible. That's the other important point. For people who have applied under the previous system, if they do want to apply under the new fee and the new service standards, again, that would be if they're eligible under the new laws that have been come into place under the C-10 legislation.
Candice Bergen, thanks for coming in and talking about this today.
Thank you for having me.